Once upon a time, there was a young couple named Sarah and Tom who were looking for a new home. They stumbled upon an old, abandoned house that was said to be haunted. Despite the rumors, they decided to take a closer look. And they were immediately drawn to the house's charm and character. As they explored the house, they noticed strange things happening. Doors would slam shut on their own. And they heard strange noises coming from the walls. Despite these unsettling events, they decided to buy the house and fix it up. However, things only got worse as they started to renovate. Sarah and Tom were constantly plagued by strange and terrifying experiences. From ghostly apparitions to unexplained noises. They tried to ignore the disturbances and continue with their renovations. But the haunting became more and more intense. One night, Sarah was home alone and heard footsteps coming from the attic. She cautiously climbed the stairs, only to find a ghostly figure standing before her. The ghost told her that the house was built on sacred Native American land and that the spirits of the land were angry. The ghost warned her to leave the house or risk facing the wrath of the spirits. Sarah and Tom heeded the ghost's warning and fled the house, never to return. The house remained abandoned and the rumors of the haunting only grew. To this day, the house is said to be one of the most haunted places in the area. And those who dare to enter are never seen or heard from again. And so, the story of the haunted house lives on. A chilling reminder of the dangers that can lurk in the shadows and the spirits that can haunt us even beyond the grave. Once upon a time, there was a group of friends, Alex, Sarah, Mark, and Katie, who loved to explore abandoned places. They heard about an old, abandoned hospital on the outskirts of town and decided to check it out. As they approached the hospital, they were greeted by the sound of creaking floorboards and eerie echoes. The friends were excited and nervous as they made their way inside. At first, everything seemed normal, but as they explored the hospital, they began to experience strange and terrifying events. They heard ghostly moans coming from the dark hallways, and they saw apparitions of patients and doctors appearing before their eyes. The friends tried to keep their cool, but they were becoming increasingly frightened. As they continued their exploration, they came across a room that was locked. They managed to break in and found a dusty old journal lying on a table. The journal belonged to one of the doctors who had worked in the hospital many years ago. The journal revealed that the hospital was built on an old Native American burial ground and that the spirits of the dead had been awakened by the construction of the hospital. The patients and staff had been haunted by the spirits, and many had disappeared without a trace. Once upon a time, there was a man who went out hunting in the woods. As night fell, he found himself in an unfamiliar part of the forest. He walked and walked, but he couldn't find his way home. Wandering aimlessly in the dark, he eventually came to a small clearing where an old, ramshackle cabin stood. Tired and weary, he decided to see if he could stay there for the night. When he came closer to the cabin, he saw that the door was standing ajar. Poking his head inside, he could see that the little cabin was completely empty. But there was a bed and a fire burning in the fireplace. The hunter threw himself on the bed and decided to sleep there for the night. If the owner came back, he would ask his permission in the morning. Lying on the bed, half asleep, he looked around and was surprised to see the walls were covered with paintings. They appeared to be family portraits, all framed and painted in incredible detail. They seemed very lifelike and, without exception, each family portrait was uglier than the next. The hideous faces in the paintings made him incredibly uneasy. The way they were painted made it seem as if the eyes were staring directly at him. It was incredibly unnerving. He decided that the only way he was going to get any sleep was to ignore the hideous faces staring at him. So he turned on his side, facing the wall, pulled the blanket over his head and drifted off to sleep. In the morning, the hunter woke up to find the cabin bathed in sunlight. When he looked up, he discovered there were no family portraits on the walls of the cabin, only windows.